Dear students, today we are going to study a new poem, The Spider and the Fly, written by Mary Botham Howitt. The Spider and the Fly by Mary Howitt describes the entrapment of a silly fly who gives into her own vanity and loses her life to a cunning spider. The poem begins with the speaker describing the first efforts of a spider to lure a fly into his dark and evil home. On his first attempt, the spider tells the fly that his parlor is lovely. It is a place anyone would want to be, and it is open for the fly to visit. She declines and then declines 3 more times as the spider tries to other tactics to lure her in. The final speech the spider gives flatters the fly's vanity. This does the trick, and eventually she comes back and is eaten by the spider. The poem concludes with the speaker reminding the children reading the text not to pay attention to false words and evil counselors. Now let's go to the poem in detail. First stanza. "Will you walk into my parlor?" said the spider to the fly. "It is the prettiest little parlor that ever you may spy. The way into my parlor is up a winding stair, and I have many curious things to show when you are there." "Oh, no, no," said the little fly, "to ask me is in vain, for who goes up your winding stair can never come down again." The syntax of this piece is pretty straightforward. This is due in part of Howitt's intention that this piece be read to or by children. Also, the majority of the lines are made up of dialogue. The two speakers are a spider whose ultimate goal is to attract a fly to its parlor, and the fly who does her best to resist. In the first line, the spider begins by asking the fly very nicely if she will come to the parlor. He adds on the enticing detail that it is the prettiest little parlor. The spider is trying to play down the fear the fly should feel about his lair. It is little and pretty, not at all forbidding. From the first line, it is easy to tell that the spider has ulterior motives. A reader will be very aware that nothing good will happen to the fly if she agrees. In order to reach the spider's home, one must go up a winding stair. Once there are curious things to be seen. These 2 lines makes the lair seem somewhat magical and much more tempting. Without even pausing to consider the offer, the fly says, "No, no." There is no reason, the fly states, to even ask. It knows that those who go up the winding stair do not come down again. Moving to second stanza. "I am sure you must be weary, dear, with soaring up so high. Will you rest upon my little bed?" said the spider to the fly. "There are pretty curtains drawn around. The sheets are fine and thin, and if you like to rest a while, I will snugly tuck you in." "Oh, no, no," said the little fly, "for I have often heard it said, 'They never wake again who sleep upon your bed.'" The spider is not deterred. He immediately tries another tactic, telling the fly the parlor can be a place for her to rest. There is a little bed and a pretty curtains in the room. If she goes there, the spider will be happy to tuck her in. In one context, these lines are caring and congenial. In another, they are forbidding and malicious. The bed represents certain death for the fly, and she knows it. The fly repeats what it is said in the first stanza. She tells the spider there is no way she is going up to his parlor. The fly knows that those who go to sleep upon the bed never wake up again. Moving to the third stanza. Said the cunning spider to the fly, "Dear friend, what can I do to prove that warm affection I have always felt for you? I have within my pantry good store of all that is nice. I am sure you are very welcome. Will you please to take a slice?" "Oh, no, no," said the little fly. "Kind sir, that cannot be. I have heard what is in your pantry, and I do not wish to see." In the third stanza, the spider is starting to show his exasperation. He asks the fly, whom he calls dear friend, what he can do for her. He says he has always felt a warm affection for her and that all he wants is to share the good store of his pantry. Again, there are two different ways these phrases could be taken. The fly might be interested in the offer of the pantry or see through the deception. Lucky for the fly, she is smart enough to know there is nothing good in the pantry. There are things, likely the remains of other insects, that she does not wish to see. Moving to the fourth stanza. Sweet creature, said the spider, you are witty and you are wise. How handsome are your gauzy wings, how brilliant are your eyes. I have a little looking glass upon my parlor shelf. If you would step in one moment, dear, you shall behold yourself. I thank you, gentle sir, she said, for what you are pleased to say, and bidding you good morning now, I will call another day. The spider is still not giving up. He turns to complimenting the fly on her gauzy or fine and transparent wings. He also calls the fly's eyes brilliant, trying to get the best of her vanity. The spider offers the use of his looking glass or mirror. There, the fly would be able to admire herself more clearly. If she agrees, she will be pleased with what she sees. The fly declines the offer once more, telling the spider thank you for the offer and the compliments, but they are ineffective. There is a difference in these lines though. It seems as if perhaps the spider's endearments are getting to the fly. She states that she will call another day or come back later. While this is still a no, the refrain of "oh no no" is not present in these lines. The fifth stanza. The spider turned him round about and went into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon come back again. So he wove a subtle web in a little corner sly, and set his table ready to dine upon the fly. Then came out to his door again and merrily did sing. Come hither, hither, pretty fly, with a pearl and silver wing. Your robes are green and purple, there is a crest upon your head. Your eyes are like a diamond bright, but mine are dull as lead. The spider takes the fly at her word and goes back into his den. It is here that he begins to weave his trap. There will be a web subtly hidden in the corner, and the table will be set, ready to dine on the visitor. The spider is very confident that all his attempts at luring the fly have finally been successful. In order to solidify his future meal, he goes out and calls once more to the fly. He refers to her as pretty fly with a pearl and silver wing. She is colored green and purple with diamond eyes. He compares these features to his own dull lead-like eyes. She has a beauty he does not. The sixth stanza. Alas, alas, how very soon this silly little fly, hearing his wildly flattering words, came slowly flitting by. With the buzzing wings she hung aloft, then near and nearer grew, thinking only of her brilliant eyes and green and purple hue, thinking only of her crested head. Poor foolish thing, at last, up jumped the cunning spider and fiercely held her fast. He dragged her up his winding stair into her dismal den, within his little parlour, but she never came out again. The speaker expresses her opinion on what happens next with the opening words. Alas, alas. Unfortunately, the fly does come back. She is silly and little and easily taken by flattering words. The fly comes by slowly until she was finally near enough for the spider to jump up and grab her. She was distracted, thinking about her own beauty and all the compliments paid to her. This was her downfall. The fly is held fast by the spider and taken up to what was once described as a pretty parlour. Now though then use of alliteration, it is referred to as a dismal den, just like the expected and repeated 3 times in her refrain. She did not come out again. Moving to the last and 7th stanza. And now, dear little children, who may this story read, to idle, silly, flattering words I pray you never give heed. And to an evil counselor, close heart and ear and eye, and take a lesson from this tale of the spider and the fly. The last 4 lines of the poem wrap up the moral message present in the text. The speaker addresses the dear little children who are reading or hearing the poem and tell them to pay no heed to flattering words. They are a powerful falsity used by evil counselor. One should instead learn from the tale of the spider and the fly and keep bad people far from one's heart and ear and eye. Let's revise the poem. Thank you.